Good evening, beautiful people of the You Create the Dream page, and welcome to Awake in the Dream. This is our fortnightly call. It's an opportunity to ask me anything at all. And also, I share with you things that I come through that I feel, hello, beautiful Marina, things I feel need to be heard. Hello, hello, beautiful. Always first, I don't think there is anyone that has ever beaten you. How are you? I hope you had a fabulous day. We had a lot of wet weather here today, lots and lots of rain today. Okay, so tonight is a little different. Normally, I come on here and I tend to have a download that's happened during the day and I share that. However, I have received some inspiration from some of the messages that you guys, many have tried. Yes, many have tried, Marina. So, what I'm using today is some inspiration from some of the questions, pardon me, that people have asked as they join. Very wet here as well. Hello, beautiful Sammy. How are you? How are you, beautiful? Okay, so we have one question. Let me just get rid of some pop-ups here now that I know that everything is functioning beautifully and smoothly. Wonderful. Okay, so we have a question from Catherine, and it's how do I forgive fully? And I really love that because it's not just how do I forgive, but like how do I really forgive, right? People understand the concept of forgiveness, right? But this is about forgiving fully. Like how do I set myself free completely is basically what the question is. So this is relevant to so many people. So Catherine, thank you so much for asking this question. For you specifically, Catherine, I'm not sure what you're having trouble forgiving or how long ago it took place. But when we feel that we need to forgive, it's because we feel that someone did something to us, right? That we've gone through a particular situation that we feel happened to us. And we have an emotional attachment to that. And we know that in order to be free and move forward in our lives, we need to forgive, right? So, it may be true that something really terrible has happened and at the time when it did happen that you were the victim, right? And I really feel this message is relevant for a lot of people. So at the time when something does happen, we often feel as though we are the victim in the situation. It happened to us, right? But here's the thing. What has happened since then? What is it that has gone on for you since then? So to forgive is to let go, is it not? And a lot of people don't like using the term forgive. So let's call it letting go, right? So to forgive or to let go is to stop losing your personal power to a past situation. To forgive or to let go isn't saying that it's okay. It's you choosing to finally reclaim your spirit. It's literally letting go. I let go of the ball and chain that I have been carrying around all this time. Self-imposed ball and chain that I have been carrying around all this time, right? I know a lot of people have trouble with the term forgive, as I mentioned, right? But here's the thing. You may have been victim in the past. You may have been a victim back then. But for anyone who continues to carry the past wounds with them, for anyone that continues to carry that ball and chain and carry the story with them, now you are the one that is allowing it to hold you back from living your best life. Now, look, I could go down the rabbit hole and get into the whole spiritual perspective about the things that happen to us, right? And our soul contracts and all that sort of stuff. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole here tonight because it doesn't matter, right? Things happen in our lives because they are meant to happen in our lives. However, where free will and choice comes in, like there are some things that you are destined to experience in this life, but where free will and choice comes in is how you perceive the situation, how much power you lose to it, how long you lose power to it, how long you stay stuck there, whether or not you choose to learn and let go, whether or not you choose to preserve the learnings and let the rest go. It's all entirely up to you. This is our power of free will and choice. So if we continue to carry a story, right? If you've got that ball and chain and you're carrying the story and you're allowing it to affect the rest of your life, then now it has nothing to do with the other person. Like nothing at all. The truth is now you are your own perpetrator. And that's a really hard pill to swallow, but it's something that we all need to recognize. If we can't let go of something, we are the ones that continue to carry it. We are the ones that are choosing to carry it. So I want you to focus on what it is that you gained through the situation. You'll never learn strength unless you're put in a situation where you need to be strong. You'll never learn courage unless you need to be courageous. That's a fact, right? You don't learn these things from a textbook. Preserve the learnings, preserve the strength, preserve the courage, and let the rest go. What aspects you hold on to is entirely up to you. That is free will and choice. You can simply choose to no longer rehash and feed and lose your power to a situation, because what we feed grows, right? But what you can do instead is choose to recognize the strengths and the wisdom that you now have. Because let me tell you, what you have survived, all of your experiences, every one of your challenges, especially your challenges, everything that you have overcome, everything that you have learned and grown through will always, always be your greatest credential. So letting go is doing yourself a favor. Letting go is setting yourself free. And if you need a hand with that, you can maybe do a search and do some tapping. Tapping is fabulous, or you might consider a CTC session. Hello, beautiful Renee. Good evening, Renee. Saying, I love this question. Thank you. It's a fantastic question, and it applies to so many people. Okay, next question we have here is from Erin. This was an interesting question, right? When you seek so many answers, what is the right question to ask first? Interesting, right? I don't know if there's a right question to ask first, because it really depends on where you're at, what you're feeling, what you're seeking, all those sorts of things, right? But for all of us, if we focus on our breathing, like if we just come back into stillness, if we focus on our breathing with a hand on our heart center, as we begin to enter the stillness, thoughts and feelings will arise. And then we can ask things like, what does this mean for me? Is this right for me? Is this right for me is a great one, because it's actually a yes, no. You're going to get a yes, no type answer, right? There's going to be no waffle. There's going to be no fluff, right? The answer will come quickly and will always, always be just a couple of words if it is coming from a place of wisdom, aka your heart center, your guidance, right? And anytime there's a story that comes in, anytime there's a long-winded answer, what's happened is your mind and your ego has now stepped in, right? And it's going to try and convince you of all sorts of things. The heart, truth, guidance will always, always be like a quiet whisper and just a couple of words. So what happens is when you receive guidance, you might not be sure about what it is, right? But you receive this guidance, you might want to clarify, so then you can actually repeat the answer back as a yes, no type question. For example, you receive a message, right? And then you could say, so I should X, Y, Z, whatever it was. And you're going to get your yes or no. And then you just keep going down that rabbit hole. But stay in stillness, stay unattached to the outcome. Like you just want to stay in this space of calm and stillness with a hand on your heart or both hands on your heart, and allow the wisdoms to come through. You can ask things like, is there more to this? Is there more than I can see right now? What more could this mean? If you're triggered, you could ask, where have I felt this before? When was the first time as a child that I felt this feeling? And then you could do some healing work on that, because doing the healing work on the here and now isn't going to change your future, because what's happening is you're being made aware of a pattern. So you want to ask to go down to basically to the root cause, right? Because when you go to the root cause, you can heal that moment. And in healing that moment, you actually clean up all the moments between that point and now, and therefore change your future. It's law. You change it, but the very thing that created it is the very thing that can, not that uncreated is a word, but it's the very thing that can do the thorough cleanup. So effectively, you get rid of it at that point, and you're clearing all the patterns, and then there's no need for it to happen again. If you're behaving poorly, right? If you're the one that finds yourself behaving poorly and it's a reoccurring pattern for you, then you can actually ask, where did this learned behavior come from? Who in my past behaved like this? Does this serve me and my purpose? And of course, if you're behaving poorly, the answer to that is going to be no, right? So again, you're going to do the healing work on that. So stay calm, stay centered, stay with the breath, and just allow the wisdom, the messages, and the guidance to come through. You could ask, what is my message to the world? What is your message to the world? If you could say anything, if you felt like you were being heard, if you felt like the world was really listening and you weren't afraid to stand up and speak, what would you say? What would you say? Trust what comes to mind right now. And then hand on heart, ask, how am I to deliver this? Okay, I'm hoping that helps. Then, how are we going for time? Hey Lily, how are you? Krista, hello, beautiful. I was thinking about you this morning. Renee, hello. I think I said hello already. Hello, everybody. I love spending this time with you guys. Feel free to ask any questions at all that you like. This is going to be a shorter Awake in the Dream call, only because we are going straight from this into the Power of You, module 8 already. Okay, so this one here, I'm actually going to choose this one here. It's from Chantel. How can I shift my scarcity consciousness, as I know I am worth so much? I love this. And the universe is unlimited. However, I still struggle with limited finances and cannot meet all my needs, let alone my wants, right? Oops, come back to the question. Oh, sorry, I thought somebody else popped in. Okay, so this is from Chantel. I really love this, okay? How can I shift my scarcity consciousness? And she's saying, I know I'm worth, I know I'm worth so much. I know the universe is unlimited, right? So here's the thing, Chantel, it's like a fabulous question, and again, something that everybody will benefit from, especially now with so many people struggling. But here's the thing, you stated, I know that I am worth so much more. I know that the universe is unlimited. However, I still struggle, right? Marina, oh, I love this question. It is a fabulous question. And this actually also ties in, for those in the Power of You program, it ties in with what we're covering tonight, which kind of ties in, Marina, with your epiphany in module 7. Anyway, back to Awake in the Dream. Here's the thing. The truth is, if you truly knew, and if you truly believed, then there wouldn't be a struggle. There wouldn't be a scarcity mindset. It wouldn't be possible. Because what's happening when you say, I know, you know it in your mind, but there's not alignment. You don't have the alignment. I know it to be true. I read it somewhere, or I believe it, or it makes sense to me, which is head, right? But if you truly knew it, if you knew it in your core, if every cell in your body knew it, and if you had complete alignment, then there wouldn't be a scarcity mindset or a scarcity consciousness, I think you had called it. I struggle with limited finances and cannot meet. Okay, so yeah, however, I still struggle. So that's a scarcity consciousness, right? If there was complete congruency and complete alignment of thought, of feeling, then everything would be in alignment, which means everything would be different. So what's happening for you, and many other people are going to resonate with this, is that you're caught in this tug of war, right? And when you're in this tug of war, you're there's no forward movement. So you've got a part of you that is going, I get it, I understand it, I know, and I'm going to work with my affirmations, and I know that I've got to get my vibe right, and I know all this stuff, right? Then you've got the opposing part that goes, but shit, it just never works for me. Like I'm still struggling. I'm still struggling with limitedness. Not me, universe. An example. That here's the thing: our brain, our body does not know the difference between a real or imagined experience. So I'm super conscious of, even when I say these things, if I say the word I'm actually claiming it here as well, and I try and negate it straight away, which I'm going to get into here as I cover this topic. But you're caught up in a tug of war, right? So there's moments where I believe it to be true. But at the same time that you're putting your order out there, there's a big part of you that's negating it. There's a big part of you that's going, my goodness, but I've got all these bills to pay, and we're struggling with this and this and this and this and this, right? So when you're caught in a tug of war, there is no forward movement. You're in one camp or the other for a period of time. But because the inability and to make ends meet and the struggles, etc., have a very strong and profound feeling, then chances are, guaranteed actually, you're radiating the fear and the lack and the scarcity consciousness more than you are radiating, I know that everything I want is out there and I'm worthy, etc., etc. So for everyone that's feeling this right now, for everybody that is feeling stuck, for everybody that is feeling a struggle, for everybody that is feeling, especially now with everything that's going on, if you're finding yourself caught in the scarcity mindset, all you need to do is try to hold a thought and a vision of abundance and all you desire coming to you. But you need to hold it in without it being interrupted. Okay? And if you want to know what the noise is, if you want to know what your block is, if you want to know what is stopping you from receiving, then as you hold that vision, as you try and hold the vision of abundance, as you try and focus on abundance, as you do your affirmations, however you do it, right? As you do that, become aware of the noise in the back end. What's it backed with? Listen to all the opposing thoughts that come up. Listen to all the things that come up and interrupt your vision, that very vision that you're trying to hold. Because those opposing thoughts, they're your subconscious programs. And some of those might be the voice of your parents, right? The things that your parents used to say when you were young. All of those things are getting in your way, right? And they're getting in the way of you having all that you desire. And I mean, what could those thoughts be? Lack of worthiness. Even though you said, I know that I'm worthy. It doesn't matter what emotion somebody gives me, I can always track it down to not being enough, not being good enough, which is, a lack of feeling worthy, right? Feeling undeserving. Nothing ever works out. Everyone else gets what they want, etc., etc. So, I know, which is head. I know that here that you are worth so much more and that the universe is unlimited. But is there complete alignment with that? And an example, hey, beautiful Prash, how are you? An example that I often share is something that a lot of clients will bring to the table, right? They say, well, affirmations don't really work for me. And I'll say to them, okay, well, what is it you're saying? Let's say it's an abundance affirmation. I have all the abundance that I need. To that, I might add and desire, right? Because we don't want to cover just what we need. But how about your desires? So let's just say they have a proper affirmation. I have all the abundance that I need and desire, right? Good affirmation. It's present tense. Number one rule, it must be present tense. It must be focusing on what you do want, not what you don't want, because we're feeding the spoken word no matter what it is. If you say, I don't want that anymore, the universe doesn't hear don't. Just like if I said to you, whatever you do, don't think of a chocolate cake. Even though I said don't think of a chocolate cake, you thought of a chocolate cake. Now don't think of a chocolate cake being stomped on by a pink kangaroo wearing purple earmuffs. Even though I said don't, you think about it, right? So what we want to do is make sure we only think about and we only put out what it is we do want, not what we don't want, and in present tense. So I have all the abundance I need and desire. Okay, great affirmation, right? Now I'll say to my clients, so when you see the bills, how do you feel? And they go, right? So they shrink. They stop breathing, it interrupts their breathing, they shrink. It's like, freak out because I don't know if I'm going to be able to make ends meet, right? So that feeling is a very strong feeling. You might go into a moment of consciousness, right? We are unconscious 95% of the day. 95% of the day we are operating from our programs, from our subconscious state. So that 5% that you are conscious is not going to make a big difference if you cannot hold congruency. On that, I actually have committed myself to, in January, this coming January, finishing off a amazing subconscious program, reprogramming program that I am creating to release early next year. So that's going to be amazing, full of lots and lots of different it's training, it's recorded, it's training, it's hypnosis recordings, rewiring programs, all sorts of things, amazing things in there. Hey, beautiful Sharon, how you going? So, all right, so now the client that sees the bills, right, has this feeling she can't pay the bills and she freaks out. So that is the feeling that she is putting out there. And that feeling is very strong because the thought and the feeling is a perfect match. It's congruent and it is going out and it is negating that, 1 minute. If I guarantee she wouldn't have been able to hold 1 minute without an uninterrupted thought that's not congruent with abundance, right? So I'm hoping this makes sense. We need to hold an uninterrupted thought about the very thing that we want. But to start with, you need to listen. What is the noise? What are the words? What are the thoughts that are coming, the feelings that are coming up for you that are interrupting that vision of abundance that you're trying to hold? Because they're the programs that you need to get rid of. Okay? So here's what I would want you all to do. Affirmation's powerful, absolutely. The mind loves repetition, and the more it has repetition, the more it's going to believe that that's right, the more it's going to think that that's teaming up with the majority, right? So affirmations, absolutely, do work with them. You're going to be thinking something, you're thinking something all the time, so try and think something positive that you do want, and always in present tense. And on that, only think about what you do want, not what you don't want. Okay? None of this walking around saying, oh, I don't want that to happen anymore, because you will keep having more of that, right? So only what you do want. Remember, you are always putting your order out there. The universe is always listening. Always. Scary thought. But you are everything. Everything is an energy. Everything is a frequency that you are putting out there. Learn to rewire your brain, your subconscious self, right? And if you think of something even slightly negative, you've got 3 seconds. Cancel, erase. I used to think that. However, now I believe that everything I touch is a success. I am a magnet for divine prosperity. I only attract the most loving, loyal, and amazing people into my world. In fact, everything I touch is a success. I love myself. I love my life. I'm in perfect health, and everything is freaking awesome, right? So we're negating the very thing that comes up. We're making sure that our mind and the universe, everything, knows that that is old. I used to think that. That is an old command. That is an old way of being. So we are locking it in, anchoring it into the past. However, now, right? And we are now replacing it with something positive. So do that even if you think of something even slightly negative. And most importantly, absolutely an amazing manifesting being, good and bad. We all are. And we just need to look at our lives. All you need to do is look at your life now to see how incredibly successful you are at manifesting, because you have successfully manifested it. So we are all incredibly successful at manifesting. But now it's time to recognize that we want to to recognize the tools, apply those tools, and manifest what we do want, not what we don't want. Okay, we want to be a magnet for the good stuff. And most importantly, I want you to remember that you were born worthy, each and every one of you. You were born worthy and deserving. You are worthy and deserving, and you always will be. So your job is to be in alignment, right? Because everything is energy. Everything, you are energy, and everything that exists is energy. So all you're trying to do is draw energy to energy, right? So your job is to be in alignment with that which you desire, because we don't attract to us what it is we want. Want comes from lack. Want is, I don't have it. I don't have it. Oh my God, why isn't it here yet? Everybody else has got it. I can see them getting it. I don't have it. It doesn't work for me. I really want it. I really want it. I really want it. That desperation pushes it further away. That desperation is lack, right? So we don't attract to us what we want. We attract to us what we radiate. It is all energy. So become aware of your frequency, become aware of what it is that you radiate. Get your feelings right, and everything will be all right. Okay. Are there any questions? Marina, sounds amazing. I'm assuming that could be for my subconscious program. Yes, it is. It is. I'm looking forward to launching it. There's lots of really good things in there. Lots of good things in there. Are there any questions? I am actually going to end this call in the next few minutes, only because I do need to get ready for our next call. If there's anything I can help anybody with, do let me know. And remember, change requires change. If something's not working for you, then there's something you need to change. That's all we need to do. We need to change something to change everything. Alrighty, I am going to leave it there, beautiful people. I wish for you all the most amazing evening. For those in the Power of You program, I look forward to seeing you in half an hour on our Power of You page. And for those in the Awake in the Dream, for those on the You Create the Dream page, I look forward to seeing you in Awake in the Dream in 2 weeks. See you then.